Hush, streets breathe, lights blur. Night rain, steady on the glass. 2 steps, don't let the shadows pass. New name folded like a note. Keep low, keep the heartbeat close. Eyes down, vanish in the swirl. Who will call your name? The other Lotus girl, blooming in a world of steel and pearl.
Episode 8. Beautiful Nails. Back in the present time, Park Street sat on the edge of Guildford's railway district. Estate agents called it a convenient location. Everyone else called it a bit rough. Stuart wrestled the manicure around the last corner, pain lancing through his chest with every turn, and pulled onto a side road 50 metres from the nail salon.
There!
Van whispered, pointing.
Red door, next to salon.
Stuart killed the engine. 4 people crammed into a pensioner's car with a crumpled bonnet, pretending this was normal.
Right then.
Stuart reached for the door handle. His ribs protested immediately.
Let's see what we're dealing with.
They climbed out into the shadows between streetlights. The damaged Micra sat there looking guilty, its front bumper hanging at an angle. Stuart tried not to think about how conspicuous they were. 50 metres away, fluorescent lights spilled from the salon windows onto the wet pavement. Pink neon spelling out "Beautiful Nails" in looping script, the kind of place you'd walk past 1,000 times without seeing. Except now Stuart couldn't stop seeing it.
Can we get closer?
Martin asked. They moved as a group, 4 people out for an evening stroll, except John was 6'4" and kept glancing around. Martin radiated anxiety. Stuart moved like someone who'd been kicked by a horse. Van looked like she was approaching her own execution, perfectly normal for a Thursday night. They stopped across the street, partially hidden by a transit van. From there, they had a clear view through the salon's front window. Stuart saw her, Mrs Patterson, his mother-in-law, sitting in one of the salon's white leather chairs, looking more relaxed than he'd ever seen her.
Is that...
Martin started.
Yeah.
Mrs Patterson had her hands stretched out while a young Vietnamese woman carefully painted her nails, deep red polish, the colour of wine or blood. A second woman worked on her hair with a brush and styling products, shaping it into something clearly expensive. Mrs Patterson's head tilted back slightly, eyes half closed. The expression of someone thoroughly enjoying being pampered.
She looks...
John's voice trailed off.
Happy.
Stuart couldn't quite believe what he was seeing.
She looks bloody happy.
The message had been clear. We have the old woman. Midnight. Bring the Vietnamese girl or your mother dies. That was kidnappers talking. Dangerous criminals. People who'd already shown they were willing to use violence. Those people didn't usually treat their hostages to manicures and blow-dries.
I don't understand.
Martin's words came out strange, tight.
Is she in danger?
Behind them, Von made a small, frightened sound. Stuart turned. She'd gone pale, pressing herself against the transit van like she could disappear into it. Her eyes locked onto something inside the salon. Stuart followed her gaze. A man sat behind the reception desk, phone to his ear, utterly at ease. Early 40s, expensive clothes, the casual confidence of someone who owned the place.
Him?
Stuart asked quietly. Von nodded, couldn't speak.
The boss? The one you...
Another nod. She looked as though she might be sick. Stuart glanced back. The man gestured with one hand as he talked, completely at ease. Mrs Patterson was examining her nails now, saying something to the woman who'd painted them. The woman nodded, reached for a different bottle.
Why would they...
Martin sounded lost.
If they've kidnapped her, why is she getting her nails done?
Because it looks normal,
Stuart said slowly.
Anyone walking past sees a pensioner getting pampered. Nothing suspicious. Nothing to call the police about.
But she doesn't look like a prisoner.
John pointed out.
Maybe she doesn't know.
Stuart was still working it through.
Maybe she thinks this is compensation, an apology. She doesn't understand what kind of place this really is.
Von found her voice.
He do this.
The words came out barely audible.
Boss. He like showing he in control. Like game to him. He prove no one can touch him. Parade woman in window. Everyone see. Nobody stop him.
Stuart watched the 2 women working on Mrs Patterson. Both young, tired, moving with the careful efficiency of people who'd done this 1,000 times. The one doing Mrs Patterson's nails had her head bent close to her work, concentration absolute.
Do you know them?
He asked.
Yes,
Von's voice caught.
Hương doing nails, Lian do hair. They good girls. Kind to me when I first arrive. Try to help when they can. But they trapped like I was.
Stuart watched Hung apply another careful coat. Her hands steady, professional. No one watching that scene would see anything wrong. That was the entire point.
We need to get her out.
Martin's words gained strength.
Right now. We go in there and...
And what?
Stuart cut him off.
March in and demand they hand over your mum. They'll deny everything. Call us crazy. Call the police even. We'd be the ones who look like criminals.
So we just stand here.
Stuart didn't have an answer. His chest throbbed. His head hurt. He was so far out of his depth he couldn't see the surface. Martin bent down, picked something up off the pavement, a rock about the size of his fist. He weighed it in his hand, staring at the salon window.
There's 4 of us.
He mumbled.
We could take him.
Stuart blinked.
What?
The boss. 4 against 1. Those are good odds.
Martin?
I'm serious.
Martin's jaw was set.
4 against 1.
Stuart looked at John, who had gone very still, then back at Martin, who was still holding the rock.
What exactly are you suggesting?
We go in. Fast. Surprise him before he can react.
And then what? You throw that at him?
No.
Martin met his eyes. Something cold settled in Stuart's stomach.
We each grab one, and we smash his head in.
The words hung in the air like broken glass.
Jesus Christ, Martin.
I'm serious.
I know you're serious. That's what's terrifying. You're talking about murder. Actual murder. Beating a man to death with rocks.
He kidnapped my mother.
So we call the police. We don't form a mob and commit murder in a nail salon.
John looked at Stuart desperately.
Tell him this is insane.
Stuart opened his mouth, closed it again. Because part of him, a small, desperate part, was actually considering it. They were out of options, out of time, out of plans that made any sense. But the larger part, the part that remembered he was a marketing consultant from Guildford who'd never thrown a punch in his life, knew exactly how insane this was.
We're not gangsters, Martin.
I don't care.
You should, because we'd fail.
Stuart pointed at the salon.
You see that man? You think he's alone? You think he runs this without backup? There are probably 2 or 3 other men in that building, armed, experienced, used to violence.
Stuart's right.
John blurted, still backing away.
Even if we got past him, even if we somehow managed to do what you're suggesting, his people would stop us. And then they'd have all of us. And we'd have nothing to lose, so they'd...
He didn't finish, didn't need to. Martin's grip on the rock loosened slightly.
So, what do we do? Just give up?
No.
Von stepped forward. Her voice was small but steady.
There is back entrance. I know. Maybe we go in quiet, not rush. Find way to get to where boss is. Overpower him together. Get Mrs. Patterson out before anyone know.
John shook his head immediately.
Absolutely not. That's still assault. Breaking and entering. We're not trained for this. We're not soldiers or...
Just what?
Martin's voice cracked.
Just supposed to abandon my mum?
No, but...
John ran his hands through his hair, making it stick up at odd angles.
There has to be another way. Something that doesn't involve us committing multiple crimes and probably getting killed.
Through the salon window, Mrs. Patterson admired her nails, held them up to the light. She appeared content, safe even.
Show me the back entrance.
Stuart said quietly. Martin dropped the rock. It clattered on the pavement. Von nodded and started walking. Martin followed immediately. John hesitated, clearly wanting to be anywhere else, then sighed and trailed after them.
This is a terrible idea.
he muttered.
Monumentally terrible. We're going to die.
Probably.
Stuart agreed. Each step sent fresh waves of pain through his chest.
But we're doing it anyway.
They circled the block, staying in the shadows. The back alley was narrow, barely wide enough for a car. Industrial bins lined one side, metal shutters the other. A single streetlight at the far end turned everything the colour of old bruises. Von pointed to a plain metal door with a numeric keypad.
There, I know code.
Security camera?
Stuart asked. Von shook her head.
Back door? No, only front.
John was still shaking his head.
This is insane. We're really doing this. Breaking into a criminal operation with no plan, no weapons, no...
Yes.
Martin said firmly.
Yes, we are.
Stuart studied his companions. John, tall and gangly and terrified. Martin, desperate and determined. Van, small and shaking but resolute.
We go in, quick look around. We don't engage unless we have to. If it looks too risky, we back out. Agreed?
Agreed.
Martin said immediately.
Fine.
John muttered.
But for the record, I think we're all going to die.
Noted.
Stuart turned to Von.
You sure about the code?
Yes, 63824.
Stuart tried the handle first. Locked. He looked at Von, who nodded. He punched in the numbers. 6, 3, 8, 2, 4. Click. The door swung open. Too easy. Way too easy. But they were committed now. Martin stepped through. Stuart followed, Von and John pressing close behind. The door closed with a soft thud. Darkness. Not pitch black, but dim enough that Stuart had to blink several times. They were in some kind of storage area. Shelves lined the walls, stacked with bottles and boxes. The smell hit them immediately. Acetone and something synthetic floral. The kind of chemical sweetness that coated your throat and stayed there.
Which way?
Martin whispered. Von pointed to the doorway ahead.
Through there.
They moved forward. Stuart's ribs made every breath an adventure. Behind him, John's gangly frame kept bumping into things, followed by muttered apologies. They were halfway to the doorway when the lights came on, sudden, brutal, motion sensor fluorescence flooding the storage room with harsh white light. All four of them froze, blinking like criminals caught in a spotlight.
Shit.
Stuart breathed.
Turn them off.
Martin hissed. John squealed in panic.
I don't know how. We just have to...
Everyone shut up and keep moving.
Stuart whispered urgently. They rushed through the doorway. It was darker here.
Thank God.
Stuart could see the door to the main shop area.
Through door.
Von whispered.
Boss at counter.
Wait.
John grabbed Stuart's arm.
Do you hear that?
They stopped, listened. Voices. Coming from somewhere above them. Male voices. Close, getting closer.
Back.
Stuart said.
Back to the...
It was too late. Footsteps were on the stairs. Shadows moving. They pressed against the wall, trying to become invisible. Stuart's heart hammered so hard he thought it might break through his ribs. A man appeared at the top of the stairs. Young, stocky, talking on his phone in rapid Vietnamese. He started down, still talking, not looking up. Stuart grabbed Martin's arm, pulled him back towards the storage room. Von and John followed. All four moved as quickly and quietly as they could, while panic tried to close their throats. They made it through the doorway. The storage room was still lit up like a stage.
The door.
Martin whispered.
We need to...
John, moving backward, banged his head on a low pipe running across the ceiling. The sound was magnificent. A hollow thong that echoed through the building, followed by John's instinctive
Fuck!
at full volume. Bottles rattled. John stumbled into a shelf. A mop and bucket toppled, clattering across the floor, the volume of a car crash. Stuart's ribs chose that moment to make him gasp. Sharp intake of breath that sounded like a scream. The voices upstairs stopped, then louder.
Who's there? Who's downstairs?
Run.
Stuart said. They bolted. Stuart's chest was on fire, each breath like a knife stabbing him. John's long legs got tangled with Van's, nearly sending them both sprawling. Martin yanked the door open. It banged against the wall. They spilled into the alley. Footsteps thundered behind them.
Go!
They ran. John's gangly frame somehow moved fastest. Van's smaller legs working double time. Martin pulling ahead. Terror giving him speed. Stuart bringing up the rear. Every step agony. Vision sparking at the edges. Someone burst out of the back door, shouting in Vietnamese. Then another voice joined in. They reached the end of the alley, turned onto the main street, nearly collided with a couple walking their dog. The couple jumped back, staring. Stuart tried to smile while sprinting past with his 3 companions, all of them breathing like they'd just run a marathon. They didn't stop until they reached the micro. Stuart fumbled with the keys, hands shaking, dropped them once, twice. Finally, he got the door open. They threw themselves inside. He turned the key. The engine coughed.
No, no, no.
He pulled out the choke, tried again. The micro roared to life. Stuart pulled away, tyres squealing. In the rearview mirror, 2 men stood in the middle of the road, watching them go. He drove for 2 minutes in complete silence, hearts hammering, breath ragged, random turns, not caring where, just needing distance. Finally, he pulled into a Tesco car park, killing the engine. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then John started laughing, high, slightly hysterical, verging on tears.
I banged my head on a pipe. I shouted fuck in a criminal hideout. I nearly got us killed because of a pipe.
It wasn't just you.
Martin said. He was smiling despite himself.
Stuart sounded like he was dying.
I was dying.
Stuart protested.
My ribs.
And the mop.
Von added quietly.
Very loud mop.
That set them off, all 4 laughing now. The kind of manic laughter that comes after terror, after near death, after absolute absurdity. Stuart's ribs hated him, but he couldn't stop. Eventually the laughter died. Reality crept back in, heavy and cold.
Right,
Martin said, wiping his eyes.
so that didn't work.
No.
Stuart agreed.
That spectacularly didn't work.
John rubbed the top of his head where he'd hit the pipe.
Oh, I think I have a concussion.
You don't have a concussion, but your pride might never recover.
They sat there in the Tesco car park. 4 people who'd just failed catastrophically at something they should never have attempted. Stuart checked his watch, 10:34, 1 hour and 26 minutes until midnight.
We need a new plan.
He said.
No shit.
Martin muttered. John spoke next. He sounded thoughtful despite the circumstances.
Right, so, I've been thinking, while we were running for our lives, obviously, but also thinking.
About what?
Stuart asked.
About them, the criminals, the traffickers.
John pushed his glasses up his nose, getting into problem-solving mode.
They're business people, right? Terrible people, but they're running a business. Illegal, but still. They make decisions based on risk and reward.
Your point?
Martin's tone sharpened.
My point is, do you really think they're going to kill Mrs Patterson?
The question hung in the air.
They kidnapped her.
Martin said.
Yes, but why? What do they gain from killing her?
John was warming to his argument.
Think about it. She's elderly, innocent, has nothing to do with this. If they kill her, you two have nothing to lose. You'd go straight to the police. Consequences be damned. And even if they have officers on the payroll, they can't ignore murder, especially not a kidnapped pensioner. The media would go insane. Pressure would be enormous.
Stuart felt something shift.
So they won't kill her?
They'd be crazy to. All risk, no reward.
John looked between them.
But you know what they would kill for? What they are willing to risk everything for?
Von's hand moved to her pocket, to the USB stick.
The evidence?
Stuart whispered.
Exactly.
John nodded.
They don't really want Van. I mean, yes, they want to punish her, but she's not the real threat. The USB is. Names, records, videos. That's what could destroy them. That's what they're terrified of.
What do you suggest?
Martin asked.
We give them the USB?
Not exactly.
John pulled out his phone.
I suggest we copy it. All of it. to my laptop. I keep the authentic version completely intact, but then we delete the truly damaging stuff from the USB stick. Just leave files that might seem important to Van, but wouldn't matter to them. Names and dates that don't connect to anything. Maybe some financial records that look incriminating but aren't. Enough that it looks real, not enough to actually hurt them.
Stuart's mind raced.
And then we offer the trade, the sanitized USB for Mrs Patterson.
Right. They'll suspect we've copied it, obviously, but when they check and see there's nothing that can really implicate them,
John shrugged.
what's the point of killing you all? You've got nothing they need to silence anymore. Killing Mrs Patterson, killing you two, would just draw attention for no gain.
Martin frowned.
That's actually clever.
That's risky.
Stuart said.
If they figure out the deception before we get your mum back,
Then we're probably dead.
John finished.
But right now, what's our alternative? Try to break in again? Call the police and hope they're not bent? Wait until midnight and hope they honour the trade?
Silence filled the car. Vun spoke next, her voice small.
But my sister. Information about her may be on USB. If we delete wrong files, I maybe never find her.
Stuart's chest tightened.
We're copying everything first.
John said gently.
I'll have the complete unedited version, every file, every piece of information, including anything about your sister. We're not losing any data. We're just giving them a fake version.
But if they find out,
Tears started in Vun's eyes.
they kill everyone. You, Martin, Mrs. Patterson. All because I try find sister. All because of me.
No.
Martin said firmly.
Not because of you. Because of them. Because they're monsters who traffic women and destroy lives. None of this is your fault.
Von wiped at her face.
the risk is worth it.
Stuart said.
If they don't have anything to gain from killing us, they probably won't. And if we can get Mum back without handing over the actual evidence,
He looked at her in the rearview mirror.
that's the best chance we've got.
They sat in a long silence. Stuart could hear his own heartbeat, feel the throbbing in his ribs, taste the fear at the back of his throat.
How long would it take?
Martin asked.
To copy the files and edit the USB?
John considered.
If we drive home, grab my laptop, come back, copy the files, 15 minutes maybe? Editing the USB to remove dangerous stuff while keeping enough to make it look real, another 15, 20 minutes if I'm careful. 45 minutes total, maybe an hour to be safe.
Stuart checked his watch. 10:42.
That gives us about 40 minutes before midnight to make the trade after we're ready.
Do we have a choice?
Martin's words came out tired and desperate. Stuart wanted to pull him close and promise everything would be okay, but he couldn't promise that.
No,
Stuart whispered.
I don't think we do.
Martin stared out the windscreen, at the bright lights of the supermarket, at people doing normal Thursday evening shopping, living normal lives where the biggest problem was remembering to buy milk. He reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone.
Right,
He said.
I'm making the offer.
You mean proposing the trade?
John said.
Get them to agree first, then I'll sort the USB while you set up the exchange.
Martin nodded. His thumb hovered over the screen. One text, one chance to get his mother back. Stuart watched his husband's face in the dim light, saw the fear there, the love, the desperate hope that somehow, impossibly, this might actually work.
Martin,
He breathed. Martin looked at him.
we're with you, whatever happens.
Martin's jaw tightened. He nodded once, sharp and determined. Then he started to type.
Hush, streets breathe.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, please like the episode. New chapters are on the way. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next installment. Want more? Read Janus Origin, Threads of Control. The other Lotus girl stands alone, but ties into the Janus Origin universe. The threads connect toward the end. Thanks again for listening.
Call your name, the other Lotus girl, blooming in a world of steel and pearl. The other Lotus girl, say my name and watch the night unfurl. The other Lotus girl, I'm the echo you can't drown, the quiet in the world. The other Lotus girl, Lotus, rise slow, Lotus, don't let go. Red to green but I don't move, signal waits for a different truth. If we're legend, keep me near, if you hear me, pull me clear. The other Lotus girl, blooming where the dark unfurls. The other Lotus girl,